Team WE claim Game 1 over Vici Gaming, but do they have what it takes to close out this series and get one step closer to locking in their playoff spot for the LPL 2018 Spring Playoffs? Of course, that's coming up in, I was going to say a few weeks. I'm so accustomed to saying a few weeks. It's next week. They need to lock it down here and now, but they can't. There's still many teams that can try to pass them. Of course, in the standings, I believe FPX just behind them. So still 3 games to be played for Team WE. This is the first that they get out of the way, and then 2 more after that to try to compete with FPX.
Absolutely. WE is still trying to forge their own destiny, get as strong as they possibly can be for the playoffs just before those playoffs get a chance to start. And right now, in this set against Vici, they have found themselves 1-0 up, and it wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty,
yes,
but the job was done, and they did look good when they were winning the game. It's the other stuff that needs to be cleaned up here from Team WE. Moving into this next game, I personally would look at the draft a little bit. I still don't feel like your conventional...
We were talking about it during the game.
Yeah, I don't know if your Jin Galio composition stands out as conventional to me, really.
Well, maybe they've just been practicing Kai'Sa. They don't want to show it because we saw it with SKT, the Kai'Sa-Galio combo. Kai'Sa dives in, then Galio follows up. This time they had the Zac to get the Jin into the back line.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, look, it could be a strategy.
That was a Vici problem.
Okay.
Not a WE problem.
Okay.
That was absolutely a lack of cohesion in team fighting from Vici on the opposite side. No, when it comes to WE, their draft, I think that 957 had a fantastic game, and I think he was a major part of why they were able to be successful at all. And I also think that the 6th man of Team WE in Swift was also a big part as to why Galio was able to have a fantastic game. The amount of ultimates that he got off from someone that was just kidnapped into the carries was obnoxious and should never happen again. And I do think that's where you have to bring this back, because it doesn't matter what WE play right now in this set. That's how I see that. If Vici don't continue to play to the best that they can, and they're subbing out mid laners as a result.
You can see Fire Rain coming in for EasyHoon. You saw after that performance how quickly he left the stage just before the game. I saw him backstage, sitting back with his eyes closed, glasses off, head tilted up as he was in his own world focused on this. So still, taking the game very seriously. These performances, these losses are very difficult on these players, and currently Vici Gaming are the lowest win rate team in the LPL.
Yes, they are. They've had a very bad showing this split. They've come back from the LSPL, the secondary league, now known as the LDL, the Development League. They've managed to find their way back in. They looked like they could be a decent team, maybe middle of the pack in the LPL, and unfortunately for Vici, they just haven't continued to grow since they qualified and since they made it. I have no idea what we're looking at. I actually can't tell.
That might have been 957.
You know what? I'm going to say it
Judging
is
by
because
the
it's
jump
just
to
cut to
957 afterwards. Yeah. Very low resolution. Is that a sign for ants? It needs to be at least 3 times bigger to see what it actually says. But still, a great performance from 957 in that game 1, dominating the top lane against Lung and getting huge flash ultimates to engage and to protect his AD carry.
And this time around for Fire Rain, whilst we did get a chance to see him starting for the team, he's the man you have to look towards. Can he actually do a single thing? Because he hasn't looked very good. EasyHoon has looked like a much more well-rounded and just overall better mid laner for the team. And we still don't know what the reasoning is for Fire Rain playing currently and for why he's been substituting here and there consistently through the last couple of weeks of Vici's games.
Yeah, so far only playing 3 games with Vici, about to get his 4th on stage here against Team WE. But we've entered into pick and ban, and that is a Kai'Sa ban. I feel a little sad by it, but all right, WE, blue side.
You reckon Fire Rain's a Kai'Sa main? You
don't you get my hopes up,
He's a
Rusty.
mid laner, dude. There's no way your hopes should be up about
Kai'Sa,
that.
AP Kai'Sa. I'm telling you, man. The
Absolutely not.
One punch Kai'Sa is so good.
Just play Annie. If you're gonna one
Annie
punch
is multiple
someone,
buttons and you have to flash.
you have Hex Flash. It's fine.
I'm
just saying.
I'm
Don't
just
get your
saying
hopes up.
too. Anyways, Caitlyn banned away from Snow. We can see Swain and Tom Kench again banned away.
You know what's coming.
And Jarvan.
The Xayah focus is something that WE love. It was banned from them in the first game, and they've gotten rid of the Caitlyn, they've gotten rid of the Kai'Sa. It's very obvious what they're going to pick for themselves as the first rotation then.
And this is a bold choice for Mystic. This is a champion. I said it in Champion Select in that previous game. He was previously the best Xayah in the world. And then in 2018 Spring, his positioning started costing his team games. Zaya's not exactly known for her mobility, though her ultimate does give her some escape.
The laning is always difficult as well, especially with a new support in the fray with Celestial down there, so he's going to have to get used to it. Now on the opposite side, Vici have decided that they're going to take a turn at the Jhin. They're going to try and show Mystic how it's done, though he had a very good performance in that first game, respectfully.
They'll have to do it against the Xayah this time, as now we've got Rakan picked up for Celestial. And Rusty, I do believe that Celestial has got quite a large number of Rakan games under his belt on his solo queue account.
Well, he's going to be someone that needs to be good at Rakan, let's put it that way. If he's not good at Rakan, then why is he Team WE's support is the first thing that you'd have to say with a Xayah main there in the AD carry role. We look past this as well. Usually, and traditionally, you will see a jungler picked there in the third pick, but WE have changed things up with all the mid lane bans that have been going in his direction. His third picked himself at Talia. That does leave them exposed to jungle bans now in the second ban phase.
We do see Jhin Morgana now out of Snow and Caveman, and this is actually a very painful lane. The Tormented Soil into Deadly Flourish into Dark Binding is just such a painful combo.
Yeah, especially if the Dark Binding hits first for the duration of that crowd control. Free time for a Jhin to hit. It's just a nasty combo no matter which way you put it. It's going to have a lot of crowd control, lots of damage, especially in the early game. And Jhin, if he can get ahead, we saw it in game 1 as well, can continue to output that damage, especially with that Essence Reaver build. And we saw out of Mystic.
We'll see what he decides to go for here, as Cassiopeia banned away from Fire Rain. So far, he's played 2 games of Ryze and 1 of Vladimir. That champion, both of those champions are still open. Could see him turn towards those next, as Vici will find themselves with next pick, but Vici on red side, perhaps they could be saving counter pick for Fire Rain. As actually, we've got the Vladimir ban away from 957.
Yeah, you'd be looking at Ryze, I would imagine, for Fire Rain here. If the priority goes towards their top laner in Meow this time as well, keep that in mind. It's not
yes.
Does
Meow.
love himself a couple of carries here and there. His best performing champion was Rumble, weirdly enough, for a little while. I don't think we'll be seeing that one.
Ooh, perhaps another carry for Vici in the top lane. Gangplank locked in.
There you go, it's a carry nonetheless. So the Gangplank's there, the mid laner will be the last rotation here from Vici Gaming. She has already revealed his hand with what he is going to be playing, and so it's more for a team composition reason as to why they pick their mid laner last, and a priority towards the Gangplank, taking that away from 957. Because there we go, the signature pick for Magic on his Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai. Now we do call him a bit of a helicopter parent for Xie, hovering around the mid lane and keeping his mid laners safe, especially on Jarvan and Sejuani, but with one of those champions banned and the other one taken away, we'll see if the Rek'Sai can provide enough. As Caveman just scrolling through for Fire Rain, gets counterpick into the Talia and opts for Zoe.
Interesting choice here. Talia does match the push of a Zoe very well. Usually does force the cleanse out of a mid laner against Zoe, however. Unsealed Spellbook is usually the way you want to go as well, so you can swap the cleanse out or swap to the cleanse if things start to go poorly. On the opposite side here, Xie has got it, but you also expect that it's going to be a summon area for most Talias, as they want to have some laning strength and threaten to damage their opponents, even with just auto attacks, so you can hit them through minion waves, get a bit of trading potential there. It means that you'll be stuck with the cleanse all game. Not a bad choice, however, when you look at Vici's team composition. Very pick-oriented. If Zoe hits a spell, Morgana hits a binding, Jhin opens up the ultimate or a long-range engage of the Sejuani. I actually really do like the draft here from Vici overall, but it's risky to have a draft like this when there's such hard engagement in the bottom lane even of Team WE, when a Scion can just charge down at you and be a frontliner.
Yeah.
However, I actually personally still would say
perhaps taking the composition with Easy, who we have to look towards new leadership of calling the shots is game 2. Providing in direction is Fire Rain. New rookie going to step into this to provide it, or will Swift be the shots here? We have called in question his communication with the team before. Now up against a very strong roaming composition from Team WE. Vici find themselves on the verge of going 0-2 here in this series.
A lot of the communication issues were in team fighting specifically, in the heat of the moment where Swift does his own thing and he believes it's the right move. And I'm not saying that what he was doing was the wrong move, but the comp did not need him to do what he did, especially not in the last game. Keep the fight, let the Caitlyn outrange time around, though he's for himself. The one here that is a little more favored for Swift as jungle can go. to a Rek'Sai, who is not something you'll often be seeing around. I'm just going to have to try his best to track, camp around that middle lane.
We'll have to see if he can do it. It's W. Vici game. Three members step out. Caveman needs some early damage. Doesn't burn any summer spells. Doesn't even use any mana to turn and escape.
Doesn't even turn and try and throw the binding. Doesn't reveal his hand, just in case. He needs to level up that spell shield as things go crazy. If someone flashes at him even, you don't want to have to use the flash yourself as a response. You can actually just use the spell shield. So nice little stuff there from Caveman. I know it's not a big deal, but it's good to see some strength of will.
He's going to need it here in this next one as defensive lines for the team's recall from Xie as he even tops himself up on mana, and it is Airy out of Xie and Unsealed Spellbook out of Fire Rain.
Yeah. Often you'll see this with Zoes. They don't need something extra in laning phase. They'll be able to clear the wave perfectly fine, and having a heal in lane means that you're very unlikely to die. Being able to swap to teleport as well to get back to lane is nice to have at certain timings in the game. So we'll have to see which build Fire Rain goes towards as well, actually. We've seen a couple of different builds. I believe the most favored one is the Luden's Echo Rush. Now that it gives mana, bit of CDR, sets himself up nicely.
We'll keep an eye on that build path as both junglers start out on that bottom half of the map. That's knock up onto Caveman. He simply stands his ground. Celestial goes in. You tell me.
No. It wasn't worth it. Celestial steps up to try and push Snow and Caveman back, but takes 3 auto attacks and an auto from Caveman with an Airy proc in there just to push them away. He loses the trade, and it doesn't even really give them the level 2 advantage, so to speak.
Now we actually see Electrocute and Sudden Impact along with Triumph from Magic. This is a kill-oriented Rek'Sai.
Going hard into the damage output, the Electrocute there. I don't believe it's a bad choice by any means. Doesn't go towards defensive, and this is what you need to do as Rek'Sai. We say this all the time, like, why pick Rek'Sai if you're not going to be able to kill someone? Go the Warriors build and do some damage with it, as Magic has successfully tracked the jungler of Vici Gaming, who is walking to the lane to avoid the Krugs.
And take a look at that. Xie is actually collapsing with him. Nearly gets all the way up to the Tri-Bush. You can see some of the stats for Swift, Magic's opponent. Massive damage percentage for his team.
Swift is terrified. Swift actually went to the turret to stop Meow from being dove as they were all going up there and refused to go to the Krugs himself during that moment. And Magic just goes over the Raptors, takes it away. Xie just walks back to mid lane after having it controlled in the first place. WWE utilized their composition not to gain something massive, and it does scare the heck out of Vici. It gives a little bit of an advantage to 957.
Providing some more freedom to the top laner of Team WE, especially after that performance in the last game. The more the merrier. The more you can set up 957 to succeed, the better.
We'll have to see if he can hit that level 6 mark and utilize some vision control in the river as well. That's the one thing most Scions in the top lane need. If they're unlocked and they don't have to teleport, they can use the ult to get to mid lane, and that's very valuable.
Xie is heading top once again.
He's avoided the wards.
Magic is now going to be spotted. Still 3 members top as they are pushing all the way up to the turret. 957 is even stepping forward to proxy and deny this CS. Meow at 13 minions. Welcome back to the LPL.
Yeah, zoned away. They didn't even know where Xie was. He avoided all of the wards, all of the vision. They had to assume he was up there, and there's no way that Meow can even stand toe-to-toe in a 1v2 against Magic at 957. That'd be summoner spells used at the bare minimum. And meanwhile, Fire Rain was in base. He switches to the teleport and comes back with a Tear of the Goddess. And that was why I said we'll have to keep an eye on his item builds, because I had a feeling that they go towards a build like this. Easy to just throw out spells consistently. When you're against a Talia, when you're against another mid laner who often goes for the Tear themselves, then you can actually match that respectively. Use spells all the time. Zoe can actually just machine gun out her Q consistently to clear waves and threaten damage. Oh, it can work.
Once again, the votes heavily in favor of Team WE. 1,250 to 219 for Vici. Though now we're seeing some more pressure from the bottom lane of Snow and Caveman. Mystic still keeping up in CS, though. He is taking quite a bit of harass. Back in the mid lane, you mentioned double tier for the 2 mid laners, so not going to be doing too much damage this early on. But again, this is constant pushing and roaming from Xie, and Magic is actually paired up with him.
And this is where I don't like the tier personally. I can understand why you can build that against a Taliyah, but Taliyah will then just have superior push. You're looking at maybe level 7 to 9, but you might want to have an amp tome for some extra AP damage, or you can't just one-hit clear the back wave as Zoe, not anymore. So that respect not being paid by Fire Rain to the push and the roam potential of Xie does unlock the mid laner of Team WE to be constantly rotating, constantly working with Magic. This is the opposite of what we are used to seeing from Team WE. Usually Magic comes to him, but now he's going with Magic.
Oh, Swift will spot Xie. A flick is sidestepped by Swift. That was smooth. But look at how Fire Rain is playing in between these waves. He backs all the way up to his tier 1 whenever Xie disappears. Perhaps over-respecting the mid laner of WE as Magic just misses that one.
But that actually would have given him level 5. That's so upsetting.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Fire Rain has all the time in the world to line up the Paddle Star, but with the ability on cooldown, can't go for it. Magic ticks over to level 5 along with Swift as they're fighting over those Raptors and just backing up. Constant tracking, constant movement from WE's mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, it's not that he's going to kill him. It's not that Swift is going to die to Magic by him being there. It's the fact that they see each other. Rek'Sai in the natural habitat of just watching her prey, just stalking constantly. Xie is the member that is actually able to make the significant map movements and be places. Bottom lane is a place that they could dive. Blue buff is also somewhere they're looking towards. And right now, more emphasis on bottom lane.
Weaver's wall gets Xie over the wall. Black shield onto Snow. Caveman flashes. Snow flashes as well, but there is Magic. Teleport from 957. Channels and completes. No more minions. First blood. It's 2 kills for Vici.
That was pretty messy from Team WE. The blue buff was up. It was available. They choose to dive the bottom lane. I said it was an option. By no means did I say actually go for that. That was so risky. The execution is so hard to do against a Morgana as well, just with the Black Shield available. And I liked the target selection from WE, if nothing else, that they baited the Black Shield. They chose to go for the Morgana, but there were still 4 Summoner spells up and available. If you didn't get Summoner spells in your laning phase, what makes you think you can dive and use a Taliyah wall to actually separate them when they can just all use the wall to go forwards? And Xie doesn't even wait for Magic. He just goes in straight away. Rek'Sai slowly lumbering forwards. Teleport comes in late. There's no way out. There's no way to be alive here. Binding connects, 2 kills.
And it turns out that the teleport was actually canceled at the last possible second for 957. Meow didn't even have his finger on the trigger. He just dropped the cannon barrage and started pushing the wave.
Yeah, there was no way Meow was going down there. He could use the cannon barrage. He needs to catch up in CS, get some experience perhaps in his way. And it's good for WE that 957 did cancel it. It's tragic for WE that they chose to take that dive at all, and that they executed it how they did, more importantly. I do think the better play there was to push in and to 4-man, take the blue buff away, get that small little advantage for yourselves, and they massively overstepped there. That is unfortunate.
Baby steps for Team WE.
Should be.
They tried to leap and ended up face first, and now Vici, after a bit of a rough laning phase, have got 2 assists onto the gangplank, 1 kill onto Snow. Caveman picks up 1 for his own and finishes off Eye of the Watchers. Well, Remnant of the Watchers. Soon to be Eye of the Watchers.
Yeah, the thing is, it felt like it was Xie making that call.
Yeah.
Felt like he took the reins in this game. He said, I'm going to rotate around, I'm going to tell us where to go, and we're going to win the game in the early game. And that's not how that works. You can't just go bottom and
Choose
2 kills
win,
magically happen. You have to set up things like this, and you have to know where Swift is first. He was already there. He contributes to the second kill that goes over as well, so he's in the right place.
And now WE, look at how quickly their pace has changed. Magic gets vision of the jungle before stepping up. Xie is now the one hugging his own turret. Though we're still seeing some movement on that top half of the map as Xie looks to head over towards blue.
Yeah, blue buff is the primary point of focus now for WE. They'll get it a little bit later than that of their opponents in Vici, who had it earlier.
Oh no!
I can't believe that actually went to Magic.
Magic actually got it. How did that even happen? That was
like
1 health. And he was burrowed.
Red buff, I guess. Nice
Mystic
dodge.
takes to the skies. Knock up onto Swift. As they show they've still got the mechanics to keep themselves alive. Paddlestar will miss, but Sleepy Trouble Bubble does not.
Not enough cooldown reduction to go again, Fire Rain, so they'll just go to sleep and they'll disengage. Nice little dodge there from Mystic. Great work to go over the Sejuani ultimate. And also to not use the E to pull back the feathers immediately afterwards. Shows some calmness, shows some reservations, and forces an immediate disengage from Vici. Now they go forward.
Caveman, that's the black shield. He kites it back. Mystic still trades a hit with Snow. Curtain call to trade some damage as Snow just looks for the minion wave, and Mystic and misses.
He couldn't decide what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted both, so he just scored a goal.
Went in between them.
Split the wicket straight down the middle.
I can see him opening up all chat. Hey, can you stand behind that minion right there, please? Thank you. Magic's actually starting off the Ocean Dragon here because they know there's no curtain call to try and dissuade it. Fire Rain steps up to get vision, but that means Portal Jump is on cooldown for just a bit longer. Paddlestar misses. Swift with his own smite is going to be denied entry by Celestial, who pops a cleanse. Dragon picked up and WE back out.
Nice little stuff there from Celestial in particular. WE, they find an opportunity to sneak the Drake away. And it wasn't just under the nose, but Vici are able to get there and see it happening, and they just don't have the counterplay. Their one look in was Zoe hitting the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, sending someone to bed. But because the cleanse was already swapped towards with the unsealed Spellbook Rakan, there wasn't actually a kill threat available. They just disengage, and that's why I commend Celestial for his presence of mind there to not only just switch to the cleanse, but step up when it needs to happen and make sure that he is the one being focused because he is the one that can get away.
And this is where we look towards the synergy of Team WE, specifically that bottom lane and the new jungler, the two new players finding tempo with the team. They were able to find it early, but after that misplay in the bottom lane, it seems like they're going to have to recover now. Especially with that Game 1 win, they might have some momentum that should aid them there. You're just chuckling.
It's so depressing to watch this.
Gangplank against Sion.
He hits a parley, and then he double kegs him with an auto attack and goes to hit another one and loses the trade. You're like, what's a Gangplank gonna do that's better than that combo? Nothing. He just lost the trade.
Oh, that's some mana wasted. Feels a bit bad. But still, he's catching CS. He's only down about 30 at this point. 5 minion waves is nearly a single kill. Not to mention he still has those 2 assists, and he's Gangplank.
You know, fortunately for WE in this game, yes, Meow is going to scale, and they are looking towards a decent late game. They've still controlled the game a little bit better here. That was not the full distance. Chooses not to go the whole way. WE still have control, though.
Inauspicious from Xie. As Sleepy Trouble Bubble misses. Xie makes his way back into the mid lane.
Well, wrong way.
I mean, perhaps that play could have been exactly what we saw in the bottom lane. Xie saying, let's make something happen. Oh, wait. You don't have minions. We didn't prepare properly.
Yeah, it wasn't as committal as the first one was, though.
Yes.
So this time around, he used the ultimate to actually just cover distance and be in the top lane. It wasn't to block him away and keep him under the turret. You're lucky if you get a summoner spell, maybe the Gangplank ultimate, something to deter them and maybe get a summoner. And he was able to get back to mid lane in time regardless. So I wouldn't say that one meant too much. It was just a surprise ultimate that you don't expect to see. And that's just Xie being unlocked in the middle lane.
Still roaming around the map, trying to open it up. Fire Rain has been holding down the fort in the mid lane. Not quite the performance that we've seen from Knight or Yagao.
He's hunting.
As Swift is on the prowl, he's found Magic. The two junglers see each other on a ward and start trying to reclaim control. The next dragon will be Ocean, so not huge incentive, just another to help stack up for WE if they want to try to take it. Paddlestar misses.
I'd imagine that a Rek'Sai, when burrowed, wouldn't be able to see things on the ground like the Trouble Bubble and may walk into some that are already placed. It would be very awkward to be a Rek'Sai against a Zoe because of that.
Do you think Sleepy Trouble Bubbles make tremors?
No.
If it's a bubble.
Surely not.
How finely tuned is the tremor sense?
Well, yeah, how large is the bubble firstly? Is it wobbling? Like,
Well, you
does
can
it have
see it in the game.
If it is a wobble bubble.
Oh, that one hit Xie. Didn't even cleanse for it, just takes the hit.
You don't want to use the cleanse if you can help it.
Wait, what's a wobble bubble?
Well, if the bubble's moving, maybe it's got some tremors.
Ah.
That's what I was getting at.
If it's rolling across the ground, you mean?
Oh, yeah. No, okay. That's what you mean. When it's being thrown. You know what? Moving on. Okay. I've lost.
I mean, we'll see the next Sleepy Trouble Bubble for Fire Rain in just a bit, but Xie makes his way back out. Sork boots, as he is just a bit behind CS, even with Fire Rain.
This will catch him up. It's all right.
Yeah.
Mid lane's pretty much even. The fact that Xie just hasn't really even been mid other than to clear waves and to leave, he is still equal in CS. That's pretty fantastic from the mid laner of Team WE. It's about that moment, you know, that one thing that breaks the game wide open and what that is going to be. Currently, Mystic and Celestial are starting to scale up down in this bottom lane. They're pushing, they're controlling the minion waves better against the Jhin. That's resulting in a CS advantage. Sooner or later, that will actually result in the turret being chunked out, not necessarily just killed. Jhin's still got a little bit too much presence there with a Morgana to prevent it from dying. The preliminary steps are in place for WE to utilize their bottom lane as a place to pivot towards. And they still have that Talia that is actively roaming. And one time it works, it could actually result in the structure dying.
All it takes is one. Xie is back in the mid lane. We can see both junglers on this bottom half of the map. Level 11 for Xie means level 2 Weaver's Wall. And again, he's hanging out on this bottom half. 60 seconds for that Ocean Dragon. WE, have they set up properly this time?
Well, Vici are acutely aware of what we just mentioned as well, the bottom lane being a place you look towards. And you say it only takes one. Well, it only takes one Morgana binding to allow swift entry into a fight as well and to follow up with further crowd control. That's all it really takes to get kills down there. He accidentally fell asleep and had to use the cleanse that time.
Yeah. Xie stepping onto that one. That means the summoner spell is off of cooldown for just a bit as Swift sees Scuttle Crab get taken by WE, and without the cleanse from Xie, WE back up. And 16.5 minutes in, looks like we're getting that slow early game just like game one.
And it's the little details that make you very unhappy to see things like that. Walking onto a sleepy trouble bubble that is just on the ground.
Yeah.
Wasn't even thrown at you. And now you have to use the cleanse for it. Well, Swift just sees a giant target on top of the head of Xie and says, we step forwards, we kill him.
They know there's no cleanse. Xie still flashes.
You are lucky that Xie is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
And if he was any worse than that, the Sejuani ultimate connected, you're looking at a dead Talia in the middle lane. The fact that he sidesteps it means that he can flash to cover distance and get himself to safety. Maybe the flash wasn't necessary, but better safe than sorry. Good night.
Taking a quick nap as he clears out a ward. It's a lot of hard work to clear a ward. Mystic, ooh, eats the snare there. Can't make up his mind. That's the Weaver's Wall. This is the dive. Is it enough to get the kills
They've got
this time?
flashes still, so I really don't think anything comes of that.
Yeah, Fire Rain teleports down. He's got Exhaust with that Spell Thief. And turns out, no. WE did not prepare enough for that one.
They're looking, but are they looking for the right thing? Are they in the right place? Is it the right time? They don't have a bike.
Why do they...
It's too early. It's too dangerous to go alone as well.
What does a bike have to do with it?
I forgot the name of the road, so I couldn't finish the statement. It's fine. You know what? Just go with it. Okay. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
they don't have a bike.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Oh, he's a genius.
I cannot believe they didn't bring a bike. Look, that's in every adventurer's toolkit.
It is, absolutely. It fits in a backpack, apparently, in Pokemon.
I mean, portable bikes. Look, you're not allowed to ride a bike here. As Vici now taking
Thank God for Dom. I sound like a Muppet.
10,000 money. That's a lot of money for a bike. It's a lot.
Please
I'm
move
just
on.
saying.
Please move on.
As Blue Buff is going to be picked up by Vici. Fire Rain heads back into the mid lane. Ocean Dragon started once again. Fire Rain lands the Trouble Bubble. Does he have the cooldown this time? Quick hit allows Magic to back away.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is one of the few champions that can use the tunnel to tunnel during the duration of the sleep. It looks like he never slept, but is actually sleeping while on the move. There's a very unfortunate circumstance for any Zoe player.
Yeah.
It's a nice little mechanic there you got to see from Magic to keep himself safe and to not get chunked out, especially when you're building a bit of a damage build, but he's actually got the Cinderhawk this time around. I guess he's recognized that he needs to be a tank. 957 isn't actively participating in the early game.
31 CS ahead, and so far all he's done is start a teleport and cancel a teleport to the bottom lane. Magic turns on to the Ocean Dragon. Vici fresh out of base. Know that it's happening. Caveman and Swift are on the way. But once again, this could be an opportunity for WE to take it as they're pressuring multiple points of the map at once. They walk in. Dragon picked up and first brick taken by 957. Flash over the wall. Finds Magic. And
everything missed.
That one missed as well. WE back away.
So unfortunate that everything missed just there from Fire Rain. It may have been the kill under Magic. The Q also left wanting at the start of that. Doesn't want to flash to close the distance. Doesn't believe that the kill is worth the flash. So they'll just disengage. They'll lose the Drake, however. They lost the Smite battle. Swift was the winner there in the end. And the top lane turret also goes down. So WE, just by their passive laning and the pressure that Xie has been able to exert with Magic that hasn't been kill pressure, but it's existed. has been enough to give themselves at least a bit of control through the map.
Yeah, roam pressure. As 20 minutes into the game, it's still very even in gold. And, ooh, look at Fire Rain's build.
Yeah.
Rabadon's second.
Double needlessly large rod is in place. It's definitely about doing damage, scaling up in your damage output. So they're going to try and maximize that if any pick happens. And the composition is very good at getting picks like we have mentioned before.
That just feels bad for Meow.
You don't get the scuttle.
I almost got it, and it's gone.
Yeah, I think the composition here does warrant at least a Ludens, I would have said, from Fire Rain as a first item. But he chose to go towards the tier, so I like that he's committed to a death cap immediately afterwards, and he's a couple of 100 gold away from it. And speaking of gold, Chie's got 3,000 just sitting there in his bag.
He does. 2,200 for Mystic.
Just buy a full item, why not?
Another Binding Tormented Soil combo onto Celestial. You can see the gold differences. Xie and Mystic both 300 gold ahead of their counterparts.
It's built like a full Morelos.
That's exactly what that item is, yes.
At least in the bottom lane, Mystic and Snow both have a lot of gold, so when they recall, they'll both be able to spend money. Fire Rain's been recalling, he's been shopping, he's been trying to come back to base constantly. That hurts.
Another hit. Cleanse is ready, but Magic tunnels to body block to save the Summoner spell usage.
Mr. President.
Now, Rapid Fire Cannon was picked up by Mystic with his recall. Celestial went straight for the Zeke's Convergence. As 957 swaps towards the mid lane, gets just a few auto attacks on the turret. A good flick onto Swift.
They're relying on the double Ocean Drake here, and I actually think the WE have found themselves, and usually you'd be like, I want an Infernal Drake, I want a Mountain Drake, I want these like really important dragons to secure.
Like a bike. You want a bike for Christmas.
Against a composition that can poke them quite well. When you're looking at a Zoe and a Gangplank, to have 2 Ocean Drakes is incredibly valuable in this instance. So they've done well to have the dragons. They get 2 of them in particular, so it scales up quite nicely then. But on the opposite side, the way of circumventing that and saying, well, we don't want to let them regenerate all their health back, is we build a death cap and we kill them before they can regenerate.
And Infinity Edge Infinity Edge second from Snow. That's a lot of big hits. Triforce Sterix from Meow on that top half.
Yeah, importantly, the Ghostblade was seen this time with it. It wasn't the Essence Reaver build that we saw from Mystic. It follows it up with the maximizing of early game and mid game specific damage here from Vici.
I think I've seen this play before, Rusty. Now it's 23 minutes into the game. Swift has been spotted. He shows up, immediately looks for Celestial, but does not find him.
And it's still happening. It's still the pressure that is available. Right now, Fire Rain's just looking to kill someone as they come back to lane. It's constantly the playbook here from Fire Rain.
Clears the ward. That's the Sleepy Trouble. But, again, just like a shark, Magic is able to sleep through the duration, traveling as he goes. Do you wonder if sharks ever get confused where they wake up?
You know, I feel like you need to take a step back first and give context as to why you're saying like a shark.
Yes.
Most people would be like, what the heck?
Sharks, when they sleep, they continue swimming.
Yes. There you go, guys.
That's it.
Fact of the day. And if you want to know about orca whales, Frostgurn's on the analyst desk, so she has you covered.
Oh, man. Thank you for subscribing to Cat Facts. Please text Cat Facts to unsubscribe. Oh, man, that's an old meme. WE turning onto the bottom tier 1. Have they got it this time? Have they prepared enough to break it down? They have. Mystic is caught. Dark Binding on the Celestial. Look at the hit. And the curtain call. He flashes away. No, sorry, that's the heal. 4th bullet. Ooh, soaked by Magic.
Yeah, they'll get out. They'll get the turret as well, and the Ocean Dragons might actually keep them in this lane if they choose to stay. We saw how much damage Snow is able to put out, and Caveman is hitting the bindings. Vici aren't playing this game strictly poorly. There's only 400 gold the difference between them, and WE have had the pressure for so long that I'm surprised the game is this close.
So, I've got to ask then, what are Vici doing? They're just going for long laning phases in which they're slowly sacrificing map pressure and absorbing the inevitable ganks from Magic and Xie?
They like long walks on the lane and candlelit laning phases. They like to extend it for as long as possible. I really like Vici. They've always been a slow team. They're not winning the early game. They're not controlling the tempo, so they just often wait. They have the least wins in our league of game wins, Dom. So they're not too sure on how to win at League of Legends, unfortunately. They've picked themselves a composition that I would say is hard to execute because it is cohesion based on getting pick and following that pick up. So they haven't made it easy for themselves on top of that. And now they're not winning, they're not losing, but they're not doing anything. And they're waiting for something to change. And to me, it's like the WE approach like we spoke about in the last game. Do you wait for Vici to make a mistake and capitalize? Yeah. Is Vici now doing that to WE?
Will WE make a mistake? They've already made one. They've given over the only 2 kills in this game. It's 957. Just spits away the minion to keep Meow occupied. Next dragon is Infernal. It's already spawned. WE setting up vision. Dark Binding misses. But again, 4 members are here. Teleport's ready for both. Could it be 25 minutes? We see the first, nearly second team fight of the game.
I would like to believe that Vici have acknowledged their team fighting is quite strong, especially if 957 isn't there to team fight front to back with the side of WE. Meow's already walking down, and from this point, you can use Swift, you can engage from long distances, you can use the range. If you find Mystic, you find Magic, kill Magic. Just take him down. He's the only tank that's always there. 957 doesn't exist right now. There are legitimate things that Vici could put into play here, and the Drake is alive. I would expect that they try and fight for this one. I would hope.
The wave is being cleared bottom by Snow, but Mystic starts off the dragon. Clears out the vision from Vici Gaming. That's Weaver's wall. Excellent by Xie. Zone Swift over. He can still hop over. Down to about 2,000 health, but another dragon taken by WE. And Vici can do nothing but watch.
And I think the other part that you have to consider here is that 957 had walked mid lane. He was ready to go as well. It wasn't just Meow. Meow's actually walked back towards top lane, and Vici's trade, they've acknowledged that we're not going to go for the Drake, but instead, because they brought 957 down to us, we're going to send Meow back up and we're going to get a turret. That's the trade that they wanted to take there, and they'll take that. It's a gold trade, so it has a legitimate value for Vici in scaling up and getting some further items.
Still 27 minutes in, the slow, patient game 2 between WE and Vici.
Told you all it was going to happen.
Yeah.
What else do you expect?
But to this degree, Rusty.
Well, what else did you expect? Vici
1 kill every
WE.
13.5 minutes.
They are single-handedly ruining the LPL average game time statistics and the average kills per game stats of our league.
Look, I'm not saying we take pride in being the bloodiest league in the world, but
you may not.
it is pretty fun. Oh, man. Fire Rain still just holding down the fort in the mid lane. I mean, he's not quite able to match the roams of Xie, who's been just moving out of that mid lane every chance he gets. But he's only 700 gold behind. If he finds a pick, it is going to hurt.
Definitely will.
If he does.
Yes. If the picks are able to be connected. Right now, the grouping is towards the mid lane dom, so it's more likely that picks actually occur.
Yes.
Especially because it's a small lane, there's bushes on either side, there's opportunities for vision control to be utilized here by Vici. And Mystic is a low-ranged AD carry that is reliant on his rapid-fire cannon procs to stay there and to be able to hit structures at all. Meow's continuing to scale as well, and that's always the other lingering concern. It will be hard to kill 957.
Oh, flash engage. He catches Rain, who portal jumped at just the right time. Oh, and Celestial was about to dash back and realize, wait, I have to stay here to actually catch the Zoe. Finally, the tier 1 is broken as WE's impatience allows them to crack the first turret of Vici. Sorry, the final tier 1.
Or maybe it is actually Fire Rain being out of position needlessly with the rest of his team not there to back him up. And he ults forwards during that time. The amount of times that we have seen Zoes in our league use that ultimate, get caught out of position shortly afterwards. Celestial missed the engage because he actually ulted forwards at the most awkward timing that no one expected. Then he came back to the charm.
Went to clear the wave and found himself in a face full of WE. Oh man, that's one of those moments where you wish you could do anything to not go back to the portal jump. I don't even think he saw it at the time.
I will admit there has been times where I'm playing Zoe and I know that the ult was a mistake and I'm coming back. So just in the middle of the ult, I flash to get further distance.
to waste time.
Take me anywhere but here.
Please, no, not here. Oh boy. But still, WE find their first kill of the game and they break down the final tier 1 of Vici. 600 gold ahead. You know, they say slow and steady wins the race. Can you really call it a race at this point?
Absolutely. The tortoise beat the hare.
It's less of a race, more of a marathon.
That's still a race.
It's a long-distance affair.
There's still a winner in a marathon,
Yeah,
Dom.
but it implies like a race as the two of you are competing to get there first. It really...
That's what a marathon is, Dom.
I feel like we're watching, what is it, speed walking? Neither of these teams are allowed to run towards the other Nexus.
Speaking of, and this is the last that I'm going to talk about speed walking, petition to call it speed waddling, because that's what it looks like.
Really is. I mean, imagine if you had a bike.
You need to stop.
And you could just bike your way towards the enemy base. Still, no bikes in this game as everyone is just happily, slowly walking their way to victory, though WE might be hunting for a pick.
It's meticulous around the vision right now. Vici are trying very hard not to get caught out of position. They want to actually catch WE out of position. And the first step on that every single time is the ward placement, the control ward placement in particular. You can see it littered across the Baron area right now. Defensive wards from Vici. The river is controlled by WE. And that's exactly where WE want that placement to be. At the same time, this is a concern. The more we go down, the more we look at Meow, the more he's actually able to get damage onto structures, and the less that 957 is able to deal with him. Hasn't gone for a Banner of Command. You can't afford to do that against a Gangplank. It provides you with nothing. So what is 957 to do to stop that from happening besides grouping with his team and forcing Meow to react in some way?
Perhaps the only way to outplay the Gangplank. Meow is finally starting to win trades. Level 17, the tables have turned, but 957 turns to engage, and Xie follows up. Sterix is propped, the flash, and Xie gets the kill.
That's certainly an answer.
That'll do it, Rusty.
No teleport available from Xie, though, and Vici, you'd think for a second they may want to go towards the Baron, but they don't have mid control. They don't have their middle lane set up. And in fact, they get a pick bottom lane, WE, and then they almost get themselves the mid lane turret at the same time. Vici's only response was just to place a couple of wards.
Bit of patient play from Vici finds them slowly losing ground. You can see how far 957 is pushed up, but WE with multiple map pressure points opt for a recall instead. Though 957 will start to get just a bit of chip damage onto the turret. Demolisher. Ooh, there it is. That's not a couple of hits. That's a big hit.
You don't often see Demolisher actually as well from most tanks now.
Vici are doing the Baron.
Something to get that. Vici actually have kicked this one off, yeah.
Yeah, they've got teleport ready for Meow. He's holding on to it.
WE will commit to this.
957 teleports in, but Vici, perhaps they might have bitten off too much. The engage. It's not one, but two knockups. Swift is low and dead. The third kill for Team WE. Meanwhile, teleport for Meow in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's going to come over. He may be able to prevent this Baron from being done. 957 is still a super tank, so it's going to have to be respected here. They won't get very low from doing the Baron. That is what I mean. But if a Gangplank connects...
Oh, look at the damage. Battlestar does quite a bit. 957 still tanking up for both teams as Fire Rain goes in. The shield has been activated by Xie. It is close, but Vici cannot find any kills.
The Baron almost secures 957. The Warmogs will get him back to full health if he chooses to stay. Currently, looks like he is just standing still. And there he goes. He decides to recall after 10 seconds of thinking about it. Mountain Drake's also alive. They can go back and they can take that one for free. If they would like WE. Of course, they still have the vision control around the Baron area. Yes. And that's where the dance will continue.
There's a ping on it going for Vici. And it seems that's the direction that they're headed across the map. Celestial and Magic making their way towards that Mountain Dragon to support Mystic.
You don't have to send everybody to the Mountain Drake if you're WE. You can if you want to be safe about it, but ultimately they could just send a Talia and a Rek'Sai. They could just send a Rek'Sai if they wanted as well. I'm sure there's enough damage there to secure it eventually. The rest of the team, more importantly, need to resume having control of the middle lane wave to make sure they're able to keep pushing that one out as they need.
And three members of WE turn to the Mountain Dragon and take it down. Vici start trying to clear vision around that Baron, but Celestial is there just around the corner, ready and waiting. 5 members of Vici are grouped up. They are being so cautious here.
They're sitting at the ramp. They're being very careful. Celestial is just scouting, getting vision. He knows where their wards are. He knows that there's no vision. They may get a flick.
That's the engage onto Swift. He's very tanky, though. In the back line is 957. He's found Fire Rain. Knock-up misses, but now he's in the front. Redemption onto Vici, but the Weaver's Wall. Mystic tries to get a shot off, but he's down at low health. The fourth bullet is ready. Doesn't find a kill. Swift tries to re-engage. Knock-up onto 2. Snare onto 957 as Mystic finally drops Swift. Meow goes low, but he trades it over. It's a double kill for Mystic. And still he's healed back up to full.
Meow is just destroying their health bars, but it doesn't mean they're going to get the kills. Everyone low, no one dead. Vici's composition is hard to execute. You're seeing exactly that. There's no chance they're going to follow it up any further. The tanks have Warmogs. 957 is back to full health, and the ultimate is available again. You know that he's looking for the engage, that they want to find that. It starts off with catching a Sejuani out of position. It ends with a Sejuani and a Gangplank dying. And all that's left for Vici is to try and get some vision control, try and stop this.
Ward is placed. They see the Baron go down. WE finally 35 minutes in on the clock. Rusty, the Elder Dragon team, takes the advantage.
I think they did that without a smite available as well. So they were able to secure it. I saw it go down to 30 health before I saw that a Rek'Sai secured it. Anyway, we get to watch the pick again. Celestial kicks this one off. Xie gets the free flick as well, and a lot of the crowd control goes there. 957 is tankier than Swift is, so that's why they're able to play this in a much more front-to-back sense. 1,000 damage onto Mystic from a Keg. A Jhin ultimate, 2 of them hit onto Celestial, so the heal's out early, and this doesn't look great for WE until 957's able to re-engage. But still, the Keg, the crits, the amount of damage that Meow is doing at least gives them a trade for his own life. He's playing this game out decently well, the Gangplank, but he just doesn't have the team to back him up.
Starting to see some big damage out of Meow, but like you said, it's not enough just yet. Swift on the side.
Once the engage.
Spotted out by the Ward. Glacial Storm still ready and waiting. Mystic firing shots as Fire Rain steps up and misses that Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
At the end of the day, having 2 Ocean Drakes and a Warmogs on your tank is basically like having a mini Warmogs in every individual member. Even more so in 957. He's just soaking damage. He's just sitting there tanking it. And then he'll get to half health. He'll back away. They'll re-engage. Nice sleep, though.
Battlestar, again, hits 957 and Mystic. You can see his health just ticking upwards with that Ocean Dragon. 87, 146, 150 with those autos, and he's back at full, though the wave bottom is cleared by Meow. WE still have that Baron for 2 minutes. That's 4 full more minion waves. There's Weaver's Wall, and now Vici. They've got their backs against the literal wall. Is this going to be the fight as Magic takes a hit? Glacial Storm onto 957. Celestial goes in with the knock-up. He's found 3 people, make it 4. And now they're going to try to finish off this game, but not before they turn around and take their sweet time buying some items first.
Yeah, there was no Mystic, there was no Xie. The curtain call is out as well. Vici are trying their best to defend this one. I would imagine they will be able to defend for the moment.
957 still tanking hits. So much damage soaked.
Oh no.
As that's a hit. Flash from Fire Rain, not enough. Magic barely escapes.
They need to back away. Magic tanking that one when there was a cleanse available from Xie against himself. Dangerously close to death. Unfortunate communication from the side of Team WE, but now is a good time to go back and to actually reassess, get some items purchased. You took a couple of turrets, you got the mid lane one broken as well, and they should have a bunch of gold there for themselves to try and close this game out, but it is only 4,000 gold the difference. It may well be that the Elder Dragon is the deciding factor because they have 4 Drakes that they can buff with that.
Very well could be in just 2 minutes. Massive damage on that Elder Dragon. If they're able to secure it, Vici, though, could be in a position to contest it. Swift still level 14 to Magic's level 14, and you can already see Vici have set themselves up a corridor of vision down to that bottom side river, though there is a very deep ward from WE behind the Wolf camp. That could provide an avenue. Instead, WE actually turn their attention towards the top side of the map. They find Meow, and they kill him again.
Yeah, they execute Meow, trying to clear waves and trying to get there before WE step up to push the turret. Well, now he's dead for it for 55 seconds. The minions are here. There's no Baron buff. The Gangplank is one of the key members for clearing waves. So they're able to push forwards now, Team WE, with a little bit more aggression to be seen.
Finding again on a 957. He is soaking hit after hit. Fire Rain helps to clear out the wave as Baron falls off. Celestial goes in and gets chunked down. That inhib turret's already down to half.
But again, double Ocean Drake, so they push back. The next wave crash. The Celestial does not have a lot of health, but it will start to regenerate shortly. They'll take themselves the turret. They'll give themselves a little bit of extra gold, and once again, they're going to go back to base after we've secured the kill under Meow. He was dead for 15 more seconds. But WE, they get the pick, and then they just run it, Vici. They realize it may not be the best idea. They get chunked out, then they back away.
Now Elder Dragon's up in 30 seconds, Rusty. The Elder Dragon team, WE,
yes,
on this side of the map.
The thing that we said may well win them the game is the Elder Dragon in this one. Having the 4 Drakes, having extra buffs on Ocean Drakes, being able to get an extra bit of damage output as well for the poke that you're seeing from the Talia. It's going to be nice.
Vici might finally have to take initiative here. They cannot allow this to go over to WE.
No, they cannot.
It's massive damage that would end the game. Who is going to provide the direction for Vici to try and turn this around? Will it be Swift? Will it be Snow? Will it be Fire Rain?
Someone needs to go to sleep real quick. Otherwise, this game is going to be very hard to win fights in. Swift also can throw out his ultimate and try and get the cleanse away from certain members. Celestial has cleanse. He chooses not to use it. Xie does not. But the Elder Dragon, it has been started. The wall is down.
Wall. There's no way for Vici to get in. Swift tries to steal. He flashes forward, but it's already taken. And Vici are just caught with their pants down.
That was a very good wall, and now 957 looking for the engage.
Drifts around the corner. Black shield to defend. Caveman leaves Meow out to dry. Knock up and stun, and he is dead. Even Snow with the panic flash. Sorry, that was Caveman.
Yeah, well done from 957, however. Gets the angles done. He finds them trying to get away, but they were split up when they were trying. So WE can push forwards. With this Elder buff, they are far too powerful. They've got the open inhib mid lane. The question is, can Vici stop the next turrets from pushing, or will WE play this slowly? You can see now by their rotations towards top lane, they want to do this one out as methodically as they possibly can. No room for mistakes. Just constantly catch Vici when they're out of position. Utilize the Weaver's Wall.
Well, this could be it as they just group up with 4 members. 957 is enormous. You need a poke-a-flute to move him. This guy will not be stopped outside of his own will or some good music.
Pretty much. It's way too tanky, and he hasn't even gone for a completely tanky build. The Locket also to be seen as his 4th item.
Yeah.
To complement the rest of his team, help them out through the poke composition. He's doing very well right now, the top laner of WE. Hasn't had the hardest role in this particular game, lane for an extended period of time, but his engages have been sound. He's done what he needs to do.
Now Baron's up in 15 seconds. WE, they've still got Elder Dragon for themselves. Could they just decide to turn towards the next Baron and, like you said, no mistakes, try to close out this game against Vici?
If we pretend the early game never happened, they've had a pretty good closeout. Think of that.
Outside of the 2 kills that they handed over.
Except for that one time they entered bottom lane. It's been pretty good afterwards. The Baron is the easiest way as well. The Elder Dragon makes them strong for this fight. I don't see a world where Vici can walk up to this one successfully. If they walk forwards, if they do, there is a Rakan, there is a Talia, there are so many things that will lock them down with crowd control, that there is no escape, so they can't really afford to do it.
And now that is 6 items on the Scion.
That's a lot of zombie wards.
That is a lot of zombie wards.
There is an apocalypse in the Baron pit.
There really is. Weaver's Wall once again. Swift has got no way to get over. No flash. And again, Baron secured by Team WE.
Mystic decides that there is a Gangplank ult zoning him, so he may as well recall instead of tanking the damage and walking through that one. He's going to back away. He's back out now.
Bottom lane.
They have actually, teleport towards the bottom lane. That's the lane they've committed towards. Remember that Xie, playing that Talia, can zone people away with the Weaver's Wall if he would like to. But right now, because the rest of his team is lagging behind as they actually teleported to have the Baron buff on these, it's not going to be an easy thing to break this.
Already the wave is pushed in. With 1 Mountain Dragon and the Demolisher, that turret does not stand a chance. The final inhib turret has been broken. Good Barrel connects onto Magic.
Engage.
Engaged. They've targeted Caveman. He shields himself, but still dies to Mystic as WE turn forward. A double kill. Could it be a triple as Mystic has to back away? Snow makes it onto the fountain in time, and the Nexus turrets are the target. Fire Rain tries to get in, but Vici, slowly but surely, methodically, they lose ground, and they are going to lose this game as Mystic further zones them away at such low health. Finally, WE turn onto the Nexus and break it down. 44 minutes in, WE win the series.
It took quite a long time for WE to find themselves with that victory, but you know what? It was still a 2-0 in the end. They do beat Vici. That's not the kind of form that you expect from WE coming into playoffs, however. It's important to note that we are in week 10, and Vici held them at bay for such a long time, and it makes you wonder, if they were against a better team, would they have lost that game, WE? Because they took so long to close it out when they had such a high potential to get leads. The early game roams, the mistake that they made that Vici would have got a lead from. What if that was a better team? What if that was RNG that they lost the early game to down there and Uzi was able to run away with it? That's always the concern for Team WE with this victory. but you take it while you can. In the last week, the first set of their 3 remaining, they do get the 2-0.
And that will, for now, put them above FPX, Fun plus Phoenix at 9 and 8, FPX at 8 and 9, both of the teams. 2 sets left to be played to determine that final playoff spot. Whereas WE, it is an important question that you have to ask. If they try to play this style into playoffs, will it succeed? Vici Gaming, the lowest win rate in the LPL right now, dragging the game out to 45 minutes. Strategy that we've not seen since 8.4 drop the changes to Baron and Dragon, and still WE have difficulty closing it.
It wasn't the second Elder Dragon, of course. They weren't going to be super buffed. They did have 4 Drakes before that Elder, and it did enable them to start pushing forwards. It felt like we were at a stalemate where no one was willing to go towards the major objective being the Baron buff, but in the end, once they got it, they were able to make the plays happen. Meow was caught out of position a couple of times. That was the big deal. After Fire Rain was caught out of position, the middle lane is Zoe as well. And those small details, the fact that Vici were able to stall the game out, look at the goal difference until 30 minutes in the game. The difference was an individual member being caught out of position. And those were the 2 people that got subbed out.
Yeah.
No Easy Hoon, no Long, and suddenly the small details being the 2 subs that lost them the game.
And while Vici might still be hunting for that perfect roster to bring into the summer split, Fire Rain and Meow, Snow in the AD carry role, Swift in the jungle, I haven't quite found that perfect concoction, that perfect brew just yet to get themselves back into this game, back into some more wins for themselves. As Vici, they've been an organization in the LPL for quite some time. They've gone through trials and tribulations, and now they're here in the LPL to stay, but they need to improve. There's got to be more.
Losers improve is what they always say, Dom.
Yeah.
Hopefully by losing this one, they'll find some things to get out of this one. WE as well, by winning this one, it's not the kind of victory that feels good, but it's the kind of victory that you will take. I will say, though, 957 looked a little bit better in this set, and that's one positive that I would absolutely take away from it.
Very well could be, but now it's time for our analysts to break down that series.
Thank you, gentlemen. Right now, we really have to take a look at the draft phase for these 2 teams because, as they mentioned, it was much better from Vici and Team WE, and it all came down to a much better draft from both teams in general.
Yeah, much better. So much better this time around. Seeing Team WE's priority come out for Xayah, we of course know, the caster said it on Desk, like, Mystic used to be one of the best Xayah players in the world. They got their Recon duo lane. Vici appropriately answered it, and I feel like both compositions were really well balanced. Now, the champion that I really want to hone in on, though, was the Sejuani pick. Now, because they prioritized Mystic's champion pool over Magic's, it meant that he wasn't able to grab the Sejuani, that he was forced to go on towards the Rek'Sai. And this is the thing with Magic. He has a tiny kiddie pool of a champion pool. He has Jarvan, Rek'Sai, and Sejuani. And if he doesn't get those champions, he's pretty much like afloat in the water. Sorry, the crowd just went nuts behind me.
It's because of the MVP that came up. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But yes, it seems like they're heavily targeting that jungle pool. They got the Sejuani pick. And again, it's not just the pick that comes in for Vici. It's the player who's using it. It's Swift, the person we identified to be the playmaker for the team and the one that could change things for Vici when they go up against teams like Team WE.
Yeah, and getting my mind back on track now that the crowd has calmed down a little bit. The reason why Sejuani is so important for Team WE is exactly what we just saw in the last game. Nothing will happen unless they have hard engage. They were basically throwing Talia walls almost at random, trying to force bot lane plays, trying to force top lane plays, trying to cut off different objectives, and the objective control really was working. And even though I kind of disagree or agree with the casters at certain instances and when they're trying to force plays bottom, the fact of the matter is that Xie was put in a position to do that with Talia because they didn't have the Sejuani. So if you want a blueprint about how to just completely incapacitate Team WE, you ban Xayah, you ban Jarvan, you ban Sejuani, and nothing will happen for them.
But unfortunately, they get that Sejuani pick and allowed Vici to kind of stall out the game, which was important for them because, yes, Team WE tried to go make plays bottom, but they failed the first time round, gave a double kill that went over towards Vici, and on top of that, they could sit back and relax, and even though they were slowly bleeding out, they had a gangplank which was scaling in the top lane.
And that's the thing, the mentality of Team WE, yes, it's really risky to dive a Morgana like that. They locked up, they gave away free kills, and from that perspective, like hindsight, you say, oh, why would you do that? It's such a terrible dive. But it makes sense from Team WE. Their Scion is just straight winning the top side of the lane. So if you continue to isolate that 1v1 matchup, they're going to take the tower for free. The big problem was, as you were saying, is that gangplank then had an open farm lane. At 19 minutes, the top tower goes down. He's 300 gold above the Scion. 5 minutes later, he's 2,000 gold above the Scion because he has Klepto, and Sion is doing nothing on the open map. And at that point, 20 minutes in the game, Vici are actually just winning the game despite the fact that they're not doing anything.
And you were saying 20 minutes into the match that Vici can sit back and relax. It's the onus is on Team WE to make those proactive plays, move Sion around the map and use him. They weren't able to do just that, but they got the pick in the mid lane, which was going to be Celestial catching out Zoe. This allowed them to start the offensive movements against Vici.
Yeah, and basically, look at that. That's 28 minutes into the game. It's 1-2. Nothing has happened, and suddenly everything just explodes. And I'm curious if the call was from Celestial, if it was from CA, or what happened, but that had to happen because otherwise Vici were just going to walk away with the game and outscale Team WE.
And that stopped them from scaling up into the late game, which is crucial for them to kind of shut down Vici nice and early and make the game on their tempo. On top of that, these are big shoes that not only Magic, but also Celestial have to fill. This is Condi and Ben they're stepping in for. When they were on the roster for Team WE, these were the 5 players that had played together for the longest amount of time out of any team in the LPL. It's good to see that they are starting to fit a little bit better with the team.
It's better to see that they've also kind of got this identity to them. Yes, there are very clear problems. You know, Celestial not standing on the right side of the lane all the time. You know, but he's starting to build that synergy up with Mystic, and also Magic having a very frail or very limited champion pool. But you can at least see that they know their responsibilities and they're at least listening to Team WE. Because at the end of the day, Team WE are looking to go into playoffs, and they're still playing like old school WE. Not as polished as it needs to be, but you're starting to see the bones there.
Well, Celestial was able to get that pick that allowed Team WE to control the game, and right now Clement is standing by with him. Let's hear from him.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we have Celestial here with the hero play that saved WE from Game 2. Celestial, 你可以跟大家打声招呼吗？
大家好，我是 WE 的辅助。
Okay, so my first question for you is that we just heard from the analyst desk. It was your hero play on Rakan that caught out Fire Rain Zoe and really stopped the scaling coming out from Vici. Can you talk us through that play right there? 就我想问的第一个问题是我们刚才分析台有听到大部分的这个猫猫这边的话说，其实是你的落的这个 play 直接抓到了对方的一个左翼，让阻止他们继续延长这一个比赛。你能跟我们讲一下这一波团战里面大概发生了什么事，然后你们队伍上面怎么指挥的吗？
因为这波就是我们知道莫甘娜回城了，然后大概知道左一就是到线上的位置，然后我们4个人就蹲在里面，感觉能抓到，然后就指挥了这一波。
那是谁下的这个指令？
是中单四叶。
Okay, so Celestial's answer is that we knew that the Morgana was already back in base, and we could estimate the position of the Zoe, so we decided to 4-man wait for the Zoe in the bush, and it was Xie that made the call for the execution. My second question for you, Celestial, is that we have seen a lot of Caitlyn and Morgana combos in the bot lane. You've also picked this up against EDG in Week 9. Can you tell us a little about why this combination is so powerful and how should you run up against this combo? 第二个问题，我想问一下，我们最近很常看到女警加上莫甘娜这一个组合，你们自己在第9周的时候其实也有选过来打 EDG， 那你可以跟我们解释一下为什么这个组合这么的强势？那有什么样的应对方法可以去打这个组合吗？
这两个组合就是推线很快，把兵线推到敌方塔下的时候，就可以不停的消耗他血量跟塔的血量。如果想打这两个组合的话，就选个比他们还能推线的，把他们压在塔下，他们这个组合就不会很强势了。
Okay, so Celestial's answer is that the Caitlyn Morgana the bot lane is mainly used for its pushing power. Once you get to the tower, you can continuously apply chip damage to the tower and to the enemy champions in themselves. And if you want to counter the lane, then you really do have to think about out-pushing them and keeping them underneath their own towers. My final question for you, Celestial, is that in last week's interview, you did say that your teammates bullied you quite a bit as a rookie. Can you tell us a little bit about the situation in the WE gaming house right now and why you're being picked on so much? 就在上一周的这个采访里面，其实我们有听到雨双问你，那你那时候也说，作为一个新人，你在 WE 还蛮常被欺负的这样。那我们可以问一下，你们这些兄弟们都因为什么样的原因欺负你？那现在有没有好转一点？
可能是我长得容易被欺负吧，现在应该会好很多。上次说之后，他们可能会好很多。
Okay. So Celestial's answer here is that they probably pick on me because I look like someone that gets picked on easily, but it should be a lot better now that I have publicly called them out on it. So that will be our interview for us right now. Back to the analyst desk.
Thanks, man. We're back at the analyst desk here. Frostgren's a little bit distracted by the cheerleaders we have in the background. But Celestial really was the playmaker in that match. The Xayah Rakan lane worked out for them. They got that pick and they were able to win the game through that.
And the thing is Team WE are, they really are a family. I know a lot of gaming houses talk about, you know, it's a friendship vibe, it's a family vibe, but I've had dinner with Team WE, can confirm it is a very friendly type of household and atmosphere in the gaming house, and it's nice to see that Celestial and Magic are fitting right at home there.
Which is perfect, because we already said they're big shoes to fill from Condi as well as Ben, and they've been adapting a lot better, they've been playing a lot better. They had some growing pains when they first joined the team, and it's going to be curious to see how they evolve moving not only into potentially playoffs, but also Summer Split later on, because again, big shoes to fill, and we know that Team WE have that mentality of being more of a family than a team.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that they do have those core strengths there. Mystic, 957, and Xie all flanking these newer members, and like we said, we can already see the kind of the bare bones strength of Team WE still there, so it's just a matter of listen to your elders, they will lead you to promised land.
But it wasn't Celestial that picked up the MVP in the match, instead it went over to the top lane. For Team WE. Sion's going to be able to pick it up there. He had the game-winning pick. On top of that, was able to control the lane against Gangplank.
They have a Chinese nickname for 957. It's something to do with the strong leg. Effectively, this dude just carries. He is just the hard role model carry. You can throw everything you want on top of him. He's going to stand strong and be strong for the team. And it's nice to see 957 continue that.
Yeah, be like 957, do not skip leg day. And I know Frostgren, you used to be a professional Mario Kart player, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if you like Mario Kart or initially or any form of drifting, you're going to like what we have for you as we go into a break.